is a very controversial subject, and Jackie, you and I know especially.
Yeah.
Now, should the N-word, should it be banned from music? Should it be banned from books? There's a lot of schools now, they're changing around Mark Twain novels because of the N-word. And also and Jackie, what do you think? Do you think we as black people should stop saying the N-word?
I do not think that there's anything wrong with the word. I feel like it is a part of literature, so I think it's crazy and insane to take it out of books because it shows you people's mindset back then and how that's a way to teach kids stuff. As far as music is concerned, I feel like it's used in a different context, and that's fine. It's just about explaining things. I think that if kids are knowledgeable, they know how and when to use a word.
It's still, our mindset is there, because even though you can take away the word, there's still people that think of us like that.
Yes.
There's still people that think we're below, still think we're dogs, and still think that. So they'll just come up with some new word.
Absolutely. There's no, I know a lot of people say, well, they're owning it back and they're going to control it, but you can't control a word like that. It has way too much history. There's too much to it, but banning it is not the thing. I've heard about the whole Mark Twain taking it out.
Yes.
That's just ridiculous because for whoever says that it should be taken out of a Mark Twain novel, they haven't read the books because they don't know
the history about the year that it was written, and black people were called that, and still are. And not to mention, as far as the whole thing when you said blacks taking it back, what's wrong with that? It was a word that was used to degrade us and to put us down. And if we want to use it as a strengthening and empowering word, and we want to change it around and maybe even change the spelling and the way it's said, what's wrong with that?
Well, I agree with you in one part. I agree that it should be back in the books. I think that's a part of history. I think that's a part of how people grew up reading it. I remember reading Mark Twain. I didn't think anything bad about it, anything good. That's just how it was. It was a book. And so when people use it, especially black guys use it in videos, I think that's derogatory. I mean, just being a woman, I think that's derogatory. And I think it should be taken out of that context, but I think leave it back how it was, educate people, on the books of...
If we would quit buying albums that have that word in it, because there's certain rappers, that's all their lyrics.
Right. Well, good luck with that. That's a whole
but if we would stop buying it.
It's a term of endearment, and I don't think it's wrong when it's used in the proper context. And it has an A on it. It's nigga, not nigger.
But there's no
derogatory.
Here's the fine line. Certain words can be said with black people. Certain words cannot be said with white people.
But it's no different than me calling a white person out of their name. It's about calling somebody out their
name. It is different. There's more history.
Right. It's more
a lot different to call a white person.
Right. It's more history, but either way, it's degrading. When you're using it negatively, it's degrading. And then who's to say that white people don't use it amongst themselves in their own house, and they use the ER version and the A version. And I know plenty who call each other.
You can't ban it.
But the ER version and the A version, it was
just different.
Well, the whole point is people spoke differently.
Right.
So it's still the same thing. It's just that black people had a different twang to our voice.
Exactly,
so
but now it's more of a pop culture thing, and now I think it's more degrading. But like I said, you can't ban it because you can ban it now, but like you said, who's to say?
Well, if people knew their history about it, they might not be so apt to say it. Because I get tired of seeing, listening, I'm in the car with my white friends, and they're trying to rap, and then as soon as that song comes on, it's much, it gets very tense, because I'm like, they better not say that word.
But you know what, though? See, that's also the mentality. There's a lot of black, for example, I saw on a YouTube video a guy who used it throughout the song because he was saying the song, and people went back and forth on the debate, blacks and whites, and black people actually supported him, saying that it's in the song. If we didn't want him to be said, then why would he said it? He's just rapping the song.
But you know what?
Personally, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with using it if it's used properly. Like, I've had white people, I've seen them or had them call somebody like my nigga, come here, or something like that.
But it's not
that
just
is
that.
Not right.
The point is, how do you know? Maybe person A says it in a non-degrading way, but you interpret it the other way.
No, I don't think white people can ever say it in a non-degrading way.
In every language, we learn tone, intonation, and all that stuff. We learn how to say things. It's about expressions, and it's the way it comes out. You know when someone's saying it in a harmful way, if they're saying it sneaky. That's how we decipher all these things.
No, it's true, but you know those rappers, what they're trying to do is sell their records, right? Mm-hmm. So who are they selling to? Not just black people. They're selling it to little white boys and little white girls. And so they think, they're growing up thinking, oh, okay, this is a word I can use.
That's why we need
the
history. Exactly. Right. So that people will know. Because if I see, this is what they call the slaves, this is what they use to degrade black people, even if even as if I was a white person, I still would not be so apt to use this because I'm like, that's not
Exactly,
right.
But you know
and
what? I'm well educated
And
in
why is
Black
it-
history, but I don't see.
But why is it not?
anything
You
wrong
don't
with
hear
it.
anybody say negative things about Asian people constantly in rap songs. I don't hear
Well,
anybody
there's
say
not
that.
a lot of
rapping.
Asian rappers.
But there are
if
Asian
you look
rappers.
but if you look over there and you probably listen to some of their songs, they probably have some stuff like that where they use terms of endearment
They
that
use
might not
the
be as
N-word
positive
too. Some
either.
of them.
there's no
And it's
ownership.
not- But they,
Yeah, there is no ownership. I think
There's
it's
no
amongst the
ownership.
individuals. If
And
that-
it wasn't
well,
just black
you
people
don't
that are
feel-
referred to as that word, because actually Middle
Right.
Eastern countries, they get referred to it too. They
Well,
put
in
sand
a
front of it.
derogatory way.
Yeah, in a
So,
Okay,
derogatory way.
ladies, we could go on with this, but this is really spicy. Okay, thanks, and come back and see us.